This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. St. James District Constable found dead at home. 61-year-old St. James District Constable Marlon Brown was found dead at his home on Monday evening. Brown, otherwise called Big Brown, of Eden in Leith District in the parish, was attached to the Mount Salem police station. He had reportedly complained to several colleagues on Sunday that he was not feeling well and left work to go home. When he did not turn up for work on Monday morning, several telephone calls were made to his cell phone, but there was no answer. A team of cops went to his home to check on him and found him lying motionless on his bed. He was rushed to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. His wife has been overseas. Brown had been a district constable at Mount Salem since 1989. His colleagues have described him as a very kind, loving, jovial, and hardworking individual who is always on the ball and always ready to assist the persons within the constabulary force and in his community. Hunt on for man who allegedly sexually assaulted a 5-year-old sister and niece. The Negril police have joined with members of the Westmoreland community on the hunt for a 29-year-old man who is alleged to have sexually molested his 5-year-old sister and a 2-year-old niece at their home last week. The girls had to be hospitalized. The mother of the 5-year-old girl said she discovered that something was wrong while washing her daughter's underwear. She said after talking with the child, she confronted her son, who denied the claims that he sexually assaulted his sister. It was later discovered that the man's 2-year-old niece had also been abused. The woman is also the grandmother of the 2-year-old. She said she called the police and both children were taken to the station and then to the Savannah Lamar Hospital, where medical examinations confirmed that they were molested. The accused was held by his older brother to be handed over to the police, but managed to escape. The Westmoreland police have confirmed the incident. The investigation is being led by the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse. NWC saddened after worker shot dead in Portmore. The National Water Commission says it is saddened by Saturday's murder of one of its employees while conducting duties in Waterford, Portmore, St. Catherine. Kamar Davis, 35, was clearing a blocked sewer in Waterford when shots were heard. He was later found suffering from gunshot wounds and was subsequently pronounced dead. The NWC has offered condolences to his family and friends, saying Davis was very passionate about his duties. The killing of Mr. Davis is a sad reminder of the risk and danger faced by some members of the NWC team in the execution of their duties in service to the public, said a company spokesperson in a statement. The NWC said almost daily, field staff are exposed to various threats and attacks, and this is a significant difficulty. However, the Commission said despite the challenges, it remains committed to its mandate to deliver the highest quality of water and sewage services to its valued customers. St. Elizabeth farmer who killed the teen boys wins appeal. Alton Baker, the man convicted for the slaying of 2 St. Elizabeth students in January 2014, on Friday had his murder convictions set aside and submitted for manslaughter after the appeal court found that the trial judge had erred in failing to leave the issue of provocation to the jury and as such deprived Baker of the consideration of the lesser offense of manslaughter. The St. Elizabeth man, who was in 2017 convicted on 2 counts of murder before Justice Martin Gale, had been sentenced on both counts to life imprisonment at hard labor, with the stipulation that he should serve 30 years before becoming eligible for parole. Those sentences were ordered to run concurrently. However, on Friday, the court, which had reserved the judgment in 2021 after hearing the appeal, ruled that the convictions for murder on both counts of the indictment are quashed, judgments and verdicts of acquittal are entered, and the verdicts of guilty of manslaughter are substituted. It further ruled that the sentences of life imprisonment at hard labor with the stipulation that the appellant serves 30 years before becoming eligible for parole to be set aside and the sentences of 24 years imprisonment at hard labor for manslaughter substituted. The court further ruled that the sentences are to be viewed as having commenced on July 7, 2017 and are to run concurrently. In the case which captured national attention, the fathers of the 15-year-old teens Desrick Williams and Ashnell Coke on January 8 realized their sons were missing after neither were home at nightfall. A search party which set out at 10 p.m. that night led to a river where one of the boys would always fish and subsequently led to the discovery of their bodies. The prosecution called 8 witnesses, one of whom testified that she earlier that day heard the enraged farmer telling his grandmother that he killed 2 boys them who were near mouth him grung. According to the witness, the convicted man, who she knew from birth, then went on to say, "Me chop them in a them head and I same say if me catch Kenroy, me go push the machete through him neck. Cause him drive down him car pa me. And I same so if no picnic in them, me go kill you all of them too." The court heard that the convicted man's grandmother told him to calm down and offered him food, which he told her to put away until later. The St. Elizabeth police, based on information received in the hours following the gruesome discovery of the bodies about 3 a.m., went to Baker's house and took him into custody for questioning. The cops then returned to his home and seized a pair of water boots, items of clothing, and 3 machetes that belonged to Baker before returning to the Silo police station, where he was arrested on reasonable suspicion of murder. During the trial, Baker, in a brief unsworn statement from the dock, said he did not commit the murders and he knew nothing about them. He also denied making the statements attributed to him. Counsel for Baker, in filing the appeal on 7 grounds, argued mainly that he was denied a fair trial because of various failures and/or errors on the trial judge's part. On the issue of whether the trial judge's directions to the jury on how to treat the statement of the witness to his grandmother in respect of the murders was inadequate, the court on Friday said, "Even in the face of the deficiencies in the trial judge's directions, we cannot say that the jury would have arrived at any other conclusion. Consequently, we are satisfied that the conviction is safe on this basis and the appellant has not suffered any substantial miscarriage of justice. Accordingly, this ground fails." On Friday, the court, in handing down its ruling, said all the grounds of appeal had failed except for ground 5, which held that the trial judge erred in failing to leave the lesser offense of manslaughter on the basis of provocation to the jury for their consideration. Under that ground, as indicated earlier, we found that the trial judge erred in failing to leave the issue of provocation to the jury, thereby depriving the appellant of the consideration of the lesser offense of manslaughter. However, having regard to the compelling evidence against the appellant that was presented at the trial, we are of the view that in the interest of justice, the proper course to adopt is to substitute the verdicts of guilty of manslaughter in place of the verdicts of guilty for murder. For that reason, it is necessary for us to revisit the sentences that the trial judge imposed, the appeal court said. As indicated, we find that the appropriate sentence range in the circumstances of this case, which involves 2 victims, would be between 15 to 25 years. Being mindful of the overwhelming evidence against the appellant and the age and immaturity of the victims, we think an appropriate starting point within the range would be 19 years imprisonment, the court said further. The court, in making its decision, also considered several aggravating factors, which included, among other things, the prevalence of these offenses in Jamaica and the location of the injuries, which were to the back of the head, as well as the mitigating factors such as an antecedent report, which described the Baker as a hardworking, and a psychiatric report that indicated that the appellant had been affected by his prolonged use of ganja. It said while as a result of the mitigating factors, the sentences would be adjusted downwards when the aggravating and mitigating factors are balanced, it still found that the aggravating factors far outweigh the mitigating factors in the present case and that sentences close to the top of the range would be appropriate. As a result, when the total offending is looked at in the round against the background of the personal circumstances of the appellant, we believe a sentence of 24 years imprisonment at hard labor on each count of the indictment would be appropriate, it said. Runaway Bay to Brownstown Main Road blocked again by protesters. The Runaway Bay to Brownstown Main Road in St. Anne has been blocked for a second day by residents and transport operators who are upset about the poor condition of the road. Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell, commanding officer for the St. Anne Police Division, told the news that the alternative routes at Bamboo and Dumbarton are also blocked by downed trees and other debris. SSP Powell is advising motorists against attempting to use these roads until further notice. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.